Novabug here. Just parachuted down there from the ceiling. Anyway, I haven't done a VR for a while, so I'm going to do two VRs. I think a double VR, a double video responsing questiony kind of thing. 15 questions, so bear with me. We'll try and hammer through them as quickly as possible. Don't want you to keep hanging around watching my ugly mug for bloody the next 25 minutes. So anyway, first video response will be to KITT171 Mike, and he poses 10 very decent questions, and quite thought-provoking, some of them, and a few most of these are going to be completely off-the-cuff answers. I have watched the video twice, trying to absorb most of what he said, but anyway, let's crack on. So question 1: what game do you think would have been made better under a different developer? Which one and why? Oh god, could you have to pick one? I mean, Mike already said about it. US Gold, yeah, most of their stuff could have been a lot better if excuse me, excuse me. That just basically sums up most of US Gold's efforts. Anyway, most of their stuff was obviously outsourced to programmers, and when they picked a good programmer, the game came out pretty well. Most of the time they picked the cheapest programmer, and the game came out like Outrun on the Amstrad CPC. But there was a few that could have been. I mean, if they picked Gremlin to do their programming more, a lot more better games would have come out of them, because Gremlin were basically pretty good at getting a handle on the 8-bit systems, the Amstrad, the Specky and all that kind of stuff. So, any specific games? Well, definitely Outrun on the Amstrad. That could have been done a lot better if US Gold hadn't have done it. Maybe if Ocean had given that a crack, that would have been okay. If it was anything programmed a bit like, should we say Ocean games? So Wet Clermont, Chase HQ, Lotus Turbo Challenge, these are decent races on the Amstrad. So you know, Outrun would have been definitely had a better chance of being a half playable game at least. So it's quite legendary as being pretty terrible. So yeah, probably that. My mind's running amok at the moment with lots of Amstrad titles that are really bad, that could have been done better by other devs. So a lot of US Gold stuff, really. I'm just trying to think of some of the more modern ones. Can't really think any off the top of my head. I would like to have seen Rare probably do more with some of their stuff. Maybe come and get influence in some games. Some of them maybe the cartoony games, to give it that sort of Conker look, Donkey Kong Country look on the 16 bits and the 64, 32-bit kind of era. Anyway, next question. What would you have done differently at Atari? So Mike's referring to obviously Atari's troubles with, firstly, the video game Crash, of course, going through to their terrible. The failed sales of the 7800 and the Jaguar and so on and so forth, and Tremel being in charge and stuff like that. But I'm not fully versed on the ins and outs fully of Atari. I mean, I've read their history and everything, but two key things stick out for me when it comes to Atari, and the first would be the Lynx. The Lynx had the potential to be the Game Boy killer. It really did. It was such a neat looking machine. It was powerful, but there were flaws about it that obviously turned people off. Obviously, firstly, the price. So I would have definitely undersold the price tag, the markup on the Lynx, just to get the sales out, and then maybe push the price up later on. If it was more affordable, much like obviously you couldn't bring it down to the cost of the Game Boy, because the Game Boy was obviously monochrome and a lot more low tech, and it was 8-bit as well. I mean, the Lynx was 16-bit, so certainly be more competitive with the price of the Lynx. I definitely should have done that. And the other thing they should have done with the Lynx, I'm not going to talk about battery life here. I'm actually going to talk about the screen life. They should have put a bloody good screen in it. Or just, especially when they brought out the Lynx 2, the Mark II, they should have really put a really high quality, the best screen they could find to stick in that. Maybe then they could have justified the price hike. So that's something that really annoys me, because the Lynx had the potential to be one of the all-time great handheld consoles, and it never really fulfilled its destiny, did it? It's a love. I mean, I love the Lynx. It's probably my second or third favourite handheld. So, yeah, definitely would have changed something about that. And the other thing that I would have hoped Atari did, I mean, was the ST. Now, ST fans such as Trusteth are going to probably have a word about this. And of course, Joy of Sticks will have a word about this as well. The ST could have been better, really, couldn't it? Yes, it was developed before the Amiga, but when it went on a technical level, the Amiga trounces it. Obviously, in the MIDI department, it's very good. But that's one part I would change. They should have changed. Is not used the tried and trusted AY chip which they used in the ST. They should have used maybe a custom chip they should have developed, or another chip from a third party or something like that, to give it a little bit more punch in the sound. Because a lot of the time you can hear an Atari ST's music, especially with a weak programmer. You'll hear an Atari ST's music, and it sounds exactly the same as a Spectrum, you know, or a Spectrum Plus 2 at least, not the beeper, but you know, because it's in essence using the same chip with a little bit of enhancement. But that's one thing I would have liked to have seen. The ST be a bit more universal when it comes to musical instruments. Maybe it could have competed with the Paula chip from the Amiga. Who knows? But yeah, definitely would have. Hopefully, whatever. Yeah. The next question. I don't know where I went with that. Next question. You're about to leave on a long-term plane trip somewhere. Which handheld do you take, and what 3 games do you stop you getting bored? It would have to be the DS. And I'm going to cheat here, I think. I have a compilation game on it. I have an SD card in it with all the... Okay, that's cheating. I'll definitely have one of the Professor Layton games. I'll pick a Professor Layton game. I haven't played them all, so I'd pick one like I haven't played, because I'm terrible with puzzles. It takes me ages to work puzzles out, on the screen at least. So definitely have one of them. That'll keep me going for quite a while. Probably Mario Kart DS, because I've got to have a bit of Mario Kart wherever I go. And I shoot 'em up. Geometry Wars. Yeah, because no matter how many times I play that, I still can't get to the bloody end. I still can't get 100% on everything. Gold medals everywhere, or platinum levels, should we say? Is it? But anyway, yeah, definitely it would have them. So yeah, shoot 'em up, Mario Kart DS, and a Professor Layton game. If you could choose any character to be your personal assistant for one day, who would it be? I wouldn't mind RoboCop on me flank. He'd sort a lot of shit out, wouldn't he? But he's more of a film character, isn't he? Oh, bloody hell. Psychic. I have no idea. I mean, I suppose that little totally forgotten his name. The guy, the flump guy, the cat from Final Fantasy VII. Cat Sith, yeah. Because he just annoys everyone wherever he goes, so that would be quite hilarious. And he's just so weird, and the comic value alone, that would be it. And it's not a practical value at all. It's completely comic value. So yeah, Cat Sith or Kate Sith or whatever, however you want to say. Excuse me. Question 5. Have you ever been in any kind of gaming tournament? Yes. Back when internet cafes were the big thing here in the UK, I used to frequent an internet cafe, and we used to play local multiplayer all the time on PC. GTA, the original GTA, Command and Conquer, the original, and Red Alert, and Quake, the original Quake, and that was probably my fondest memories, is playing the original Quake and playing all the patched multiplayer levels, DM4, was it Deathmatch 4, and Painkeep, with all the special weapons, and I'm going to come to one of them special weapons later on in another answer. So I'm planning ahead here. This ain't off the cuff. I said it was off the cuff, but it's off the shin more. Anyway, yeah. So I did well, not so much nowadays. I obviously play online tournaments, Mario Kart. So I've got to give Splatoon a go soon, and I used to be a massive Mario Kart Wii fan. Online multiplayer. I used to do a lot of that as well. Question 6. Are there any good and fun to play sports games? My mantra on sports games is, as long as it doesn't have football in the title, or soccer, then it's playable. Or at least half playable. It's just football, the endless churn, machined garbage of sheep flat meat that is football games and soccer games. I mean, I'm talking gridiron here, American football, and I'm talking traditional soccer. Both. Just tired, and it's boring, and it does my head in, and I just don't, I'm not a big fan of them. Some of the older ones I am. Sensible Soccer, for instance, is the kind of thing that that's what I'm looking forward to in a football game. Not interested in American football games at all, because I can't understand the rules anyway. I've never been able to understand the rules. But as for games, sports games which I do find fun, I think that some of the Tiger Woods games are really, really good. I've still got a big soft spot for Wii Sports and the latest edition on the Wii U, Wii Sports Club. Still got, I've still play that regularly. I still think it's real fun. I think the bowling is great and the tennis is good, and even the baseball on it. I mean, I'm not a baseball fan at all by any stretch of the imagination, but it's great on that. And older ones, I would say, Slapshot, which was an early ice hockey game on the Amstrad, was kind of infuriatingly fun as well. Used to play that quite a bit. And maybe a few football management games, but that's it. When it comes to actual playing football games, no way. They're just annoying to me. And all the football game fans go now on me, but you know, that's what I feel like, and you know, we all have different tastes, don't we? Question 7. If you could rename any system, console or handheld, what would you call it? This would be like a confusion avoidance method. Mike, you mentioned calling the Wii U the U, which is a great shout, so I'm not going to nick that idea. But the Xbox One, no, that's a stupid title. It should be called the development name, the Xbox 720. I thought it would have been cool if it was called the Xbox 720. I would have been more interested in if it was called that. I would have liked the Sega to use a development name for the console they were developing called the Neptune for the Saturn, because I think that'd be a cooler name than Neptune. I don't know why. I'm not sure why. I mean, yes, I suppose Saturn is a cool planet with the rings, but for some reason, Neptune just was. I just feel that's more. I don't know. I don't see. Again, I went off into the outer space there, literally, didn't I? I prefer it as a name. Put it that way. Saturn is a name that's used so many times in different things in different circles of entertainment. It's a bit tired. So yeah. And the PC Engine. It's a great console, silly name. It always confused me when I was a kid. The PC Engine. I thought, what the hell is it? PC Engine. I thought it was like a circuit board that you added to your PC at the time. Or added to your computer. We didn't have PCs, of course. We had a 286 or something. I had no idea what it was until I actually saw one being played. So maybe I would like that to be called Turbo Graphics throughout the board. Or in fact, all the variations of the PC Engine should be called Turbo Graphics. Like the Core 2, Turbo Graphics. The Turbo Graphics Duo R. There you go, put the graphics bit in there. Just because it's a nice name with the X. So it's got that little bit of alien coolness about it. You are miraculously faced with a group of zombies coming at you. On the table there are 5 weapons from different various video games. Which one do you choose? Going back to Quake and Head Exploder, it's simple enough, would be the chain Thunderbolt gun that you got in the original Quake, which had a gold lightning bolt come out of a rotating turret, and it would chain onto enemies' heads and blow them up. Job done. No more zombies. Were you ever prohibited from playing violent or mature themed games when you were a kid? No, because my parents had they didn't know what games were. They weren't really au fait with them, or what they were really at all. I mean, I remember playing when I was a kid Let's Shoot Larry, and obviously later on GTA, and games like Narc, Nightbreed, and Hot Chiller, and games like this. No one blinked an eyelid because they didn't really. My parents didn't know it any different. Obviously, with the modern stuff nowadays, it's more aware, especially with the internet and exposure and media exposure and everything. Parents are more aware, and rightly so. So it's good. But back then, no. No. And of course we didn't have the sort of hyper-realistic, violent, Mortal Kombat kind of Dead Space shit that we do now. So it wasn't really much of a big problem. Right back in the 8-bit era anyway. Certainly, I mean, there was some... I mean, Chiller was a dodgy game. The arcade version, but anyway, just dodgy. And of course some of the sex games, but I never saw any of them. Of course not. But, yeah. I keep saying, yeah. I wasn't. That's the answer anyway, I wasn't. And finally, if you're not into gaming, what hobby or other interest would you pursue as you do with gaming? Probably I would more concentrate on my GoBot collection. And be more interested in going for a full collection of all the variations of the different GoBots, both from Japan and from the States and from European, because there are different variations in different continents. And I'd probably concentrate on that more. I don't now because it's something I can't focus time on with the games and obviously family and everything, and it's expensive as well. Some of the rarer GoBots are very expensive, and you'll have to get them from the Far East and get them from the States, and there's some down in South America as well. They're all over the world, and it's an expensive hobby. So the 60 or so that I have, and you know, it's quite worth a bit anyway. But yeah, I'll definitely focus on that more. But anyway, those were the answers for KITT171. Now we're going to go to a quick jump cut and the next part of this VR to the stars. Second part to this VR. This time from Matropolis. 5 questions quickly, so I'll rattle through them as well. He says he poses. What role-playing game character class would you be in real life? A wizard. Simple. Oh, I can have a lot of fun as a wizard. I could pretend to be pretend to be sort of like, have a limp with the staff. And then, Gandalf styley wizards, because you've got a repertoire of spells to draw from, and you're skilled with a lance, and you're an old man. Everyone looks at you and think, oh, he's easy pickings, no chance. So probably one of the high-class, sort of high-end wizards, or a good mage, a good dark mage, or something like that. You're competing against, this is question 2, by the way. You're competing against your friend in an arcade game. What is more important to you, obtaining a higher score or progressing further? It always has been progressing further, and the basic reason for that is I really rarely look at the score, especially when it comes to things like beat 'em ups, shoot 'em ups, RPGs, if they even have a score tally. Any game really. I mean, the only games I look at the score on are things like puzzle games, like Tetris and Columns and Bejeweled and things like that. That's the only time I ever look at the score, where the score actually matters. For instance, when the score doesn't matter, I don't really look at it. So doing the Tubeless Hardcore Challenge has actually opened my eyes to certain games and finding out where bonuses are and where better points to be scored, and a bit of point harvesting here and there. Well, that's illegal, isn't it? I shouldn't say that. I've got some wind. Apologies. Don't drink beer, people. Anyway, definitely, yeah. Progressing further. I always want to get further in the game every time I play it. That for me, much more satisfaction than any kind of score. To be honest, the score counter could read 0. It wouldn't really bother me, unless I was obviously playing a puzzle game, where the score matters. Question 3: if you had the opportunity to publish your own video game, what would it be? Well, I wrote several basic games back in Amstrad Basic years back. Probably wouldn't publish them. I would have liked to at the time. I didn't know at the time, of course, like being a very naive teenager. Well, not even a teenager. I mean, I was 12. You know, maybe that age. Even younger than that. I didn't realise at the time that you could send games off to people and they could publish it. I don't know why. I didn't know that at the time. I should have. But I probably wouldn't publish any of them. They were pretty basic. I did a treasure hunting game, which was pretty basic. Had a sort of the gravity would pull you down as you jump from platform to platform. It was just very basic, and probably wouldn't. I did a snake clone as well, so I wouldn't bother with any of them. I would like to see though a proper, fully fledged Red Dwarf game. Bit along the lines of if you've ever seen the episode Back to Reality, so you actually playing a game within the game. If you get playing the game is of Red Dwarf, but you're playing the game inside the game. Sounds confusing. If you watch the episode, you know what I'm talking about. But that would be really funny, and you could put a lot of comic elements in there, and you've had voiceovers from all the characters as well, all the actors. So you had Chris Barry in there. There's the man himself. Craig Charles, Robert Llewellyn did the voices. I think that'd be really, really good, and really, really, it would make my day. It would make my day to have a fully fledged sort of adventure Red Dwarf game. So, what is your favourite weapon in a game? Actually, again, I've already mentioned this. One of the favourite weapons is that chain Thunderbolt weapon that was from Quake. I found that weapon hilarious, really funny. So I've already mentioned about that. I do like the Buster Sword from Final Fantasy VII, but I suppose ultimately I've got to be a traditionalist, and I've got to say Excalibur, because, well, you know, like you get a version of Excalibur from Secret of Mana, one of my all-time favourite RPG. But Excalibur is the legendary weapon, isn't it? It's just has so much gravitas with it. The name, this huge broadsword, it's just juicy. Heads lopping off and limbs everywhere. Chainmail, no problem. Straight through. Yeah, Excalibur. That's, of course, if I could pull it out of the stone. Which, like Thor's hammer, you have to be worthy. Or is it? It's something like that anyway. Finally, for this double VR. Sorry I've been going on. I have no idea what the time clock is because the screen's on the other side of the camera, so I can't actually see the time. Do you take the hero path or the villain path in video games? Generally, as a rule of thumb, the hero path. Because, yeah, I like to be a good guy. I'll try to be a good guy. But I do have a kind of mean streak in me. So, especially when you get them options in games where it gives you like a selection of dialogue or an action to take, sometimes when you have the jokey option, which is a bit mean and a bit off the cuff, I like to just pick that to see what happens. Yeah, and it's like when you get the option to, really kill this one, kill that one, kill that one. Sometimes I would say, well, I'm just going to kill the weird option because it just may be funnier. I don't know. But by and large, the hero route, but with dark elements here and there. Kind of like a bit of an anti-hero. But, you know, not that often. I don't know. The hero route, but with an edge. There you go. So anyway, there's my answers to all them questions. 10 questions from Kit. 5 questions from Matt. Thank you very much for watching. I hope my answers have been enjoyable for you to view and watch and listen to and then switch off. Thank you very much. Novabug out.